segment we think that most people will like: sugar and beer.
Perfect timing, right? Heading to the weekend. Chef Amy Sherman from the Spartan Culinary Classroom is here today with some tasty ideas. And on the eve of St. Patrick's Day weekend, Amy, this is perfect timing.
It is. What could be better, right? Than some beer and some chocolate and some sugar.
Well, you put a great spin on all things beer.
Right, because you can incorporate it in so many different ways, which is why I like it. It is
People
actually
don't think about it in baking.
They don't think about it in baking, and it's actually a great thing to bake with. Not only is it going to give you more lift, it's going to give your food a little bit more flavor, and it all burns off, so you can still feed it to your kids.
The alcohol burns away.
The alcohol burns away, but the flavor remains. So.
Perfect. So we've solved an urban legend.
Correct. So don't worry about it. Don't wig out about it. It's all good. So today for St. Patrick's Day, we're going to make a stout chocolate cake.
Sounds wonderful.
Right? There's nothing bad
so let's talk ingredients here.
Ingredients, you're going to start actually by cooking your stout, your butter, and some cocoa powder together so that the cocoa powder melts, and that's going to give your cake a really great moist flavor and texture. So after you do that, it's really simple. It's like a one bowl cake. You just mix that up with some eggs, some sour cream for more moistness, and then the flour, baking soda, and sugar. All in one bowl. You don't have to whip eggs. You don't have to do all these separate bowls to mix it together. So it
sounds easy.
It's an easy cake. So this is a great one to start off with if you're not used to baking a cake from scratch. So then once you get your cake done, bake it in two 9-inch round pans if you want. That's a great size though. And then what you're going to do, and this is a great trick for any kind of cake you're going to make, you're going to put your frosting on, and this is a delicious frosting, of course, because it's just chocolate and cream.
And the frosting has Guinness in it also.
A little bit of Guinness in that, yeah,
just
a tiny bit, but you could skip that if you didn't want to put it in there. You could use a little vanilla. Let your cakes cool. You're gonna cut them, and I have special instructions on the website as to how to cut your cake. You're gonna layer it up with your frosting, and then this is the trick to make a great looking cake.
Okay.
Two things. One, first thing is to take some parchment paper or some wax paper, cut it into little strips, and lay that down on whatever your serving platter or cake stand is going to be. So put that down first, then put your cake down, layer it up with your frosting, and then this is what's called a crumb coat, okay? So you do a real thin layer of your frosting on your cake, and that seals the cake in, and so then you're not gonna have all those little crumbs that get stuck in your frosting and make it look messy and make it look unprofessional. Do that and then let it sit in your fridge or on the counter until it's a little bit firm.
Okay.
So that's your seal coat kind of.
Okay, the
I like
seal
these
coating.
baker secrets.
Yes, exactly.
Then you can take, this is also a really great tool for frosting. You can get these at local stores. It's called an offset spatula, and it makes your frosting life a little bit easier.
And that will help you with serving too, because
you could totally stick it in there. And then you put
plate.
your next coat of frosting on, and it's, see how it's not gonna run in together, and so you can frost it really nicely and it will look good. And you kind of just, I like the natural swirl, because then you're not gonna be messing around with trying to make it perfectly smooth. I mean, there's a point where we're all like, screw it, I just want to eat the cake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love this too because I think that it makes it look like there's more frosting.
Well,
when it's not smooth. That's
We'll have
perfect.
to try it to find
Yeah,
out.
'cause
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not
gonna try it. And then when you're done frosting, you just pull these out, and it takes off any of the extra frosting that you got all over your serving.
So it's nice and clean on
and then
your
it's clean and it looks
presentation.
perfect.
Which is great because these are just strips. She hasn't put the cake underneath the whole thing.
Right,
This
just strips,
underneath
pull
the
them
whole
all
thing.
out, and you
then
have a
just-
beautiful, clean, lovely serving thing.
Perfect.
So let's cut us a slice so we can try it. This is a 3-layer cake. It's really moist. Super good, nice, and very, very chocolatey.
Oh, it's
So
nice
probably a
and
thin
thick.
slice to start.
So does it work better if you
Here's
actually
cherries.
do that sealing layer in the refrigerator in between
If you pop it in the
coatings?
fridge, yep,
Does
it
that
will make it nice and firm and be really, really great to frost on. So,
Okay.
And it's not hard then anyone can frost a cake and make it look like a professional did
perfect.
it. Now I'm not sure if a professional's cutting this cake, so
I know. Maybe, do you want to take over here?
No, you're doing
No,
great.
Rachel, you're doing a great job.
Okay. I'll
Don't
touch
be
it.
Look
shy,
at
but
that.
you'll
I
be
think
good
the
there.
first
matter.
one's always the hardest one to get out.
I think you're right about that. And you know, look at that, how moist that cake is.
Goodness.
Oh,
See
yeah.
this? Everyone
That
take
is
a look
just
at that.
It should be nice and moist, and it isn't going to taste like beer. I have to stress that this won't taste like beer. But what the beer does is it gives it almost like a more chocolatey flavor, I would say, because the little bit of bitterness in the beer accents the bitterness in the chocolate. So that's why it's a nice complement for this cake.
Amy, let's talk beer because it's St. Patty's weekend, and you brought in some examples of stouts.
Of some great
We need to know about
stouts, yes,
stouts.
because this is, of course, stout time. So everybody is thinking about it. This is the one time of year where a lot of non-beer drinkers are going to give Guinness a try, and Guinness is a great beer. I love it. It's an Irish-style stout, so it's actually a little on the dry side, and it's actually lower in alcohol. So it is a delicious beer, and I love it. But we also make some great Michigan stouts, so I encourage people to give those a try this weekend, and that's some of the ones I brought today. One is from Bell's, and it's their Kalamazoo Stout. And that's a stout I've been drinking for a really long time. It's one of my favorite beers. I love it. It's a great beer. And then the other one that I brought today as a stout example is from Marshall, Michigan, from Dark Horse Brewery, which is, and we can try it, Rachel. It's right there in the front if you want to pour a little. Yep, pour a little bit. This is a special stout. It's an imperial stout, and these stouts, imperial stouts, are higher in alcohol, so they're a little bit stronger.
Dark in color.
Really dark,
nice
really
and thick.
Yep. This is a great sipping beer. This is not, I'm going to St. Patrick's Day party and pounding. You're
This is
sipping
not,
this
I'll be
beer,
at Irish
enjoying.
and Iron yet all day.
Exactly.
Okay, this
You're
cake,
enjoying
I have
this.
to say, Amy, this is my second bite. This cake
It's
is so good.
rich and thick. If you try this at home, you will not be disappointed. It is so
It's a good
chocolatey.
cake. Really chocolatey.
It's delicious.
Very chocolatey.
Okay, by
but
the end
really
of the
great
day,
with beer.
those recipes will be on our website by the end of the day today.
I promise.
Right, and great recipes are ingredients from D&W Fresh Market
Amen, and try
and
it.
Family,
Family
Fare.
Fare.
A
You
Michigan
can find
stout.
all this stuff except the finished product.
Happy
You have
St.
to do it
Patrick's
yourself.
Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
We'll be right back.